Today, we're going to Cape Verde. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Cape Verde. My old nemesis, the country that put me in jail the first time. Congo was the second, that's coming up soon. But Cape Verde, it's a small country, 650 kilometers off the coast of West Africa. The capital of it is Praia. The population is 500,000. No, it's about 550,000. The GDP per capita is about $3,600 a year. The language, Portuguese, but also Cape Verde Creole. And also the currency is called the Cape Verdean escudo. Escudo. You don't need a visa to go there unless you turn up on a boat. Unless you turn up on like a fishing boat, a 40-foot wooden canoe, a pirogue. If you turn up in one of them without a visa, you'll probably get into a bit of trouble. But more on that later. So, just let's say hello to whoever's watching us out there in the great outside world. I can't actually see who's watching because I don't know why. My comments haven't come up. Not comments, but your comments. You're going to have to give me a moment here. Oh, there it is. Okay, found you in the end. No worries. Right, R.I.P. Aunt Sally. Yes, unfortunately, Una Stubbs has died. So we've got no more Aunt Sally. I hope Wurzel Gummidge goes the same way. And by Wurzel Gummidge, I mean Tim Martin. But not a, says Pineapple Boy. Charlie Nelson says, I up. A ring of yellow stars on a blue background. Where have I seen that before? Yes. There's only 10 of them, though. There's 12 on the European flag. R.I.P. Una Stubbs. Hello, is anyone in there? Says Patrick McCarthy. Well, I hope so. Just finished watching The Cruel Sea. Great film. Row, you bastards, row. It's the episode we've all been waiting for. Well, Adam says it's the episode we've all been waiting for. So I'm hoping not to disappoint. I'm going to rattle through this. Because I want to get to the footage. I've got loads of footage to share with you tonight. A lot of it has never been seen. I might get a copyright strike for some of it because it's unedited. It's just what I filmed when I was there on my camera that I bought of myself. But for some reason, the BBC own it. So if I get into trouble, I'm sorry. Well, we've had the good innings, haven't we? We've had the good run. But if I don't get into trouble, great. Okay, so fun facts. Basically, the archipelago of Cape Verde is made up of 10 islands, okay? And 5 islets. The islands, in order of size, and I've written this down so don't forget it, are Santiago, which is where I was, Santo Antonio. See, I'm failing at the first hurdle here because I've got no idea how to read Portuguese. Boa Vista, Fogo, São Nicolau, Mayo. It's pronounced Mayo. São Vicente or Vicente. Sal, like salt, but without the T. Brava and Santa Luisa, which is uninhabited. Cape Verde is one of the 3rd largest nesting sites for loggerhead turtles. I think I saw the loggerhead turtles on the way to Cape Verde. I will share that footage with you. You will enjoy it. And there's actually more Cape Verdeans living outside of Cape Verde than there are living in Cape Verde for various reasons, which I will come to. Boa Vista's waters, Boa Vista is one of the islands, one of the 10 islands, are a breeding ground for humpback whales, and Sal was once a salt mining centre, hence the name Sal, which just means salt. So it's the island of salt. And I once spent 6 days there in a jail cell in the capital, Praia. Okay, let's head over to the geography. We'll head over to the map now. I know your comments are coming thick and fast, but we will head over to the map. If it will please appear on my screen. Please appear map. Hello. There it is. Isn't it a lovely map? That's such a lovely map, isn't it? Okay, so that's the world as we know and love. And if I zoom in here on the west coast of Africa, up here are the Canary Islands. So that's the Canaries over there. And then over here is, at the top here, that's the Azores. Okay, and down here is, I think that's the Azores. It is, isn't it? I'm going to look like a bit of a tit if it's not, but I think it's the Azores. Anyway, and if I go down here, this is Cape Verde or Capo Verde. Cabo Verde. So maybe I should have done this as my first of my C-flavoured countries, as in countries that began with the letter C. But I decided to make it the 3rd because I called it Cape Verde. That's why I called it when I was there. So this is the main island here that I'm circling with my mouse. That's Praia. Sorry, that's I get the moment. That's Santiago there, and the capital is Praia, the city. And there, at the top of that is Tarrafal up here, and over here we have the old town, which is now called Ciudad Vela, or Ciudad Vela, I should say, which is where there used to be, and there still is. You might see it in the footage actually, because I don't think the footage of the place was shown on the TV show. Which I don't know how many of you seen the TV show, but they cut a lot of stuff out because I recorded over 150 hours of footage, so you couldn't see it all. There you go. So when I tell a story later, this is the island of Mayo over here, and that's where my saviors came from. And over here is the island of Boa Vista, and this over here is the island of Sal. And Sal is generally where the yachts, there's lots of yachts over there, which is nice. These three islands on the right here, on the east, generally get hit by quite gnarly winds coming from West Africa, from the Sahara, the Sahel, and they're quite dry. They often need extra water and stuff sent to them. The ones on this side, especially the ones over here, and these two down here, generally quite green and quite lush. And then Santiago down here is somewhere in the middle. The islands are all volcanic. It has loads of volcanoes. The highest of which is the Pico de Fogo on Fogo Island, Ile de Fogo, which blew up how long ago? I can't remember. 2014. It last went up in 2014. Also, when you zoom in, let's have a look. Let's have a look on the what's it called? The thing, the satellite. Satellite view. Okay, you can sort of see the volcanic mountain ranges. These are all extinct. None of them blow up anymore. But I don't know if you'll be able to see on this, but if you sort of zoom in on the coast, you'll sometimes find... is this a good one? Is this a good one to show you? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. No, it's not. What it is black sand beaches. They have a lot of black sand beaches. This isn't where the tourists go. But because the tourists tend to prioritize, here we go. Because the tourists tend to prioritize the beaches in old Cape Verde, the locals tend to have to use sort of these black sand beaches where the volcanic sand is black. It's a bit like sunbathing in a coal scuttle. Anyway, so that's the island. There are the islands of Cape Verde there. Smallest one over here, which is, I think this one's uninhabited. That's Santa Luisa. That one is, I think, uninhabited. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. It's happened. That's San Vicente there. That one is, which one is this? Is this Fogo? I don't know. I can't even remember. It was that long ago. It was a long time ago. It was quite a traumatic experience for me, as you'll see in the video in a moment. Right, get to the video, Graham. Okay, all right. So that's the map there. Ta-da. Do you know what? I think I'm going to need a beer to go for any more. Right, here we go. Let's get a beer and let's crack in. Read some of your comments, and then we'll talk about the history of Cape Verde. One of my favourite flag designs. It clearly aspires to belong to a large and very prosperous trading bloc. Yes, Cape Verde's flag. It's kind of reminiscent of the flag, to me, of the flag of Nauru, which is also off-centre. The top blue is the sky. The bottom blue is the sea. The white is the land, maybe the people. I don't know. And then the red is the bravery. I think it's bravery, that. And the stars in the circle represent the islands of Cape Verde, because if you look at the islands, right? If you look, you'll see that the islands are kind of in a bit of a circle. So something I said when I was there, they should have like a boat race every year where you got to start off here and you got to go to each island like a regatta, and you get to this one, and then you got to get back to that one, and that's going to be the big race there. And they should have that as a race. That'd be boss, that, wouldn't it? The round Cape Verde yacht race. I thought that'd be quite cool. But that's what the stars represent on the flag. So, like the stars on the flag of Tuvalu, it's actually a map. It's actually a diagrammatic map of the country. And yes, there you go. I don't know why it's not centre. I don't know why it's a little bit I might need to suss that out, because the reason why Nauru has a line and then a star under the line is the equator, and they're under the equator, whereas Cape Verde is above the equator. So it's in the northern hemisphere, like most countries. Is today's video R-rated? No. Would you like to own one of those islands? Nope. Not going back to Cape Verde anytime soon. My brain is melted. I've been too long down in the mines. Oh God, don't spend too long down in the mines, Duke. You'll get black lung. You'll be dead. You'll be dead by dawn. Harry Webb, if we're being pedantic. What were we talking about? The creator of rugby, the erroneously named. Is that the guy who invented rugby? But no, that's someone else. That's Webb Ellis. It's what you do best. Should I work on a quiz? Yes, you can do work on a quiz if you like. The islands are divided into the Sotavento, the leeward, and the Bolavento, the windward groups. Ooh, there you go. Same as the Caribbean. So it's like a mini little tiny Caribbean. Also, what's Cape Verde is really, really good for is generating hurricanes. Because it's got like warm water, cold winds, and generally put those two things together and you end up with hurricanes getting started. But the thing is, they don't tend to actually whack Cape Verde. They tend to start small in Cape Verde and then travel westward towards the Caribbean and Florida. Thanks, Cape Verde. Not really their fault, really, but you know. Anyway, so the history is going to be quite short. It's going to be quite short because sometimes we do the history and it takes like an hour to get through like half the history of the country. But listen, Cape Verde was uninhabited. It was uninhabited and it wasn't discovered until the Portuguese found it until 1456. Okay, 1456 was when they found Cape Verde. The islands were uninhabited and the first group of settlers arrived 6 years later. And they founded Ribeira Grande, which is now Ciudad Velha, which means old town, I think. Sorry, no, that's a different one. That was on the island of São Vicente, or São Vicente. São Vicente. That's what I'm going to say. St. Vincent. It's the island of St. Vincent. I'm going to stick with that. Anyway, the settlers almost immediately started bringing over slaves from West Africa to work on their plantations. They wanted to make a sugarcane plantation, but it's not a great place to grow sugarcane, and the crops failed, and it was a shit idea. And so they went, well, what can we do then? What can we do? Well, Cape Verde, as we saw on the map, happens to be located let's go back to the map. I love the map. Can I go back to the map without annoying everyone? I'm going to go back to the map because it's kind of important that you get what I'm going on about, I suppose. But here we go. Let's go back to the map. So if I zoom out, you'll see Cape Verde there, and you'll see what's over here. Ooh, that looks like Africa. There's Africa there, and specifically the west coast of Africa, or this part here was known as the Slavery Coast. Because you know what happened there. Anyway, now look at Cape Verde there, right? And then what's over here? Oh, look, it's the New World. It's the Caribbean and also Brazil, where they put lots of slaves. So essentially, for a while at least, Cape Verde was in the middle of the transatlantic slave trade because the boats were stopped there for supplies and to drop off slaves and to reshackle people, the millions of people that were getting transported across the ocean, taken away from everything they know and forced to live a life of enslavement in the Caribbean and in South America. Anyway, so I've gone on about slavery a lot in these shows because obviously it's a big part of the history of the world. I hope you don't go on. I hope you don't feel like I go on about it too much, but it was the biggest crime against humanity in history. And that's saying something because there's been some massive crimes against humanity over the last 10,000 years. Anyway, so the handy position, let's call it, of the islands made them a perfect clearinghouse for slave trade. It was wealthy enough to attract pirates in the 1500s, including in 1585, a certain Sir Francis Drake, who was looking for a lake, but all he could find was that ooh sound. It's all around. No one's going to get that. Okay, so moving on. In 1747, changing weather patterns aggravated by deforestation and overgrazing resulted in Cape Verde's first famine, first recorded drought. And over the next 100 years, from 1773, 3 droughts killed more than 100,000 100,000 people. And each time, the drought killed at least 40% of the population. So about 40% of the British population, what would that be? About 25 million? Imagine 25 million dead people on this island. Yeah, that's what they had to deal with. And that was a cycle that lasted well into the 20th century, actually into the 1980s when they had the last drought. Meanwhile, Britain, France, Netherlands, etc., they challenged Portugal's dominance of the slave trade. And as a result, Lisbon kind of invested very, very little in Cape Verde during the good times and absolutely nothing in the bad times. So to escape hunger, to escape death, many men left the island to the islands to work as whalers on US flagged vessels or American whaling ships. Today, there's lots of Cape Verdean communities on the New England coast. And like I said, the population rivals that of Cape Verde itself. Foreign remittances. I love it when I can't say a word. Foreign remittances account for as much as 20% of the GNP, the gross national product. Cape Verde's fortunes were revived somewhat in the advent of the ocean liner in the 1800s, when the Victorian people went and travelled around the world. They could stop at Cape Verde and pick up some coal and some livestock and some water when they had it. And then in 1948, an airport opened on the island of Sal, and it became an important stop on the transatlantic flights because the planes didn't have enough fuel to get all the way across the Atlantic. They'd have to stop off at the Azores or stop off at Cape Verde along the way from Africa or Europe to the New World, to America, South America. Anyway, so independence. Because Cape Verde's population is mixed race, something I should have mentioned. So in most of the other Portuguese colonies, like Guinea-Bissau and Mozambique and Angola and Sao Tome and Principe, most of the people who lived there tended to be African, and the Portuguese didn't tend to mix with them. In Cape Verde, that wasn't the case. People did mix. And so the vast majority of the population now are of mixed heritage, mixed European and African heritage. And so as a result of that, they seem to fare better in terms of the way they were treated by the Portuguese than the people of Angola and Mozambique. By the mid-19th century, for instance, 25% of the population were educated. They could read. Well, compare that to Guinea-Bissau, just over the water in West Africa, which is a Portuguese colony, where only 5% of the African population could actually read and write. In the mid-1950s, together with the leaders of Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde's intellectuals established a joint independence movement, the African Party for the Independence of Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde. Its real name was in Portuguese, but that's what it was in English. And they were known by the initials PAICV. Well, they became known as that after they dropped Guinea-Bissau, but we'll come to that in a moment. It was a Marxist-Leninist communist party. Yay. As other European powers were relinquishing their colonies, Portugal's right-wing dictator, Antonio de Salazar, I mean, if you're going to be a dictator, you may as well have an evil name, eh? So he called himself Salazar. Well, no, I think he was just called Salazar. It's a great evil name, that, isn't it? Hello, what's your name? My name is Salazar. Oh, you're not an evil dictator by any chance? Yes, I am. Anyway, he was a right-wing dictator, and he propped up his dreams of greatness with his, he propped up his regime, I should say, with his dreams of colonial greatness and splendor and gloire, as Louis XIV would have said. From the early 60s, one of Africa's longest wars of independence ensued. And don't forget, there were lots of wars of independence in Africa. But Portugal held on to the bitter end. It wasn't until 1974 that Salazar's government was deposed, and the colonies of Portugal got independence all around the world to some extent. Obviously, Macau didn't, and I don't think Goa did till a few years later. But Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, Sao Tome and Principe, Angola and Mozambique did get their independence in the mid-70s. So 1975, Cape Verde became independent, and Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau it fully intended to unite as one country. So it was going to be a bit like Equatorial Guinea. There's 4 Guineas, guys. There's 4 Guineas. There's Guinea-Bissau, which was Portuguese. There's Guinea-Conakry, which was French. There was Equatorial Guinea, which was Spanish. And there's Papua New Guinea, which was German and British. But then it wasn't German. It was kind of British, but then it was really run by the Australians until very recently. Okay, so there are all your Guineas there. So in Equatorial Guinea, you have a little bit on the mainland, and you have some islands. And the capital is actually on an island. It's not on the mainland of Africa. So it was intending to do something along those lines, but after a coup in 1980 in Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde decided to go its own way. The ruling party, the aforementioned PAICV, they fueled by socialist revolutionary ideas, nationalised most industries and instituted a one-party state because they didn't like people, arguing with them and they didn't want consensus politics. They just wanted to tell people what to do. Funny enough, when I was there, a lot of the people I met had funny Russian names. I met a lot of people with Russian names when I was there. I met a Yuri, I met a Vladimir, I met Alexander, but it was spelled like the Russian way. Big Russian influence for some reason in the 1980s in Cape Verde, and as such, some of the people who were born in the 1980s ended up with Russian names, which is kind of weird, but Russia never had any colonies in Africa, but it did have some interferences, a lot of interferences. Check out the flag of Angola and you'll see what I mean. Okay, moving on. So the ruling party, the PAICV, they did limit corruption. I got to give them that. And they also improved education. But in 1985, and health. But what did they ever do for us? In 1985, there was a severe drought in the country. But this time, Portugal and the USA supplied 85% of the food and drink that Cape Verde needed to keep going. That was nice of them, wasn't it? Didn't do that before. They just let everybody die. But now, now that Portugal was no longer ruling over Cape Verde, it decided that it wanted to be friends. And here, have some food. Sorry about that whole starving you over generations and generations. Sorry about that. Back into the comments just for a moment. I'm rubbish at quizzes. You get the right answer. Almost as evil as being named Lysanderoth. Lysanderoth, that's good. There goes the Guinea quiz question, says Stanley Beckett. Or Barthandalus. Mugabe, Salazar, Pol Pot. No, but Pol Pot's a silly name. Like, Pol Pot sounds like Polly Pot. It sounds like the name of a doll from I don't know, a weird child. This is my dolly, Polly Pot. Do you know what I mean? It's a silly name. Doesn't sound evil. Marcos, Stalin, Hitler, Johnson. You include it. The dictatorial party, the fascistic dictatorial party of Burma, now Myanmar, was called Slorc. Slorc. I think you need to look that up. I'm sure it was Slorc. But could you think of it? The more evil sounding name. It sounds like a bloody like a monster from Lord of the Rings or something. Oh, don't awake the Slorc. He'll bite your head off, he will. Anyway, I used to play solo card game with former British ambassador Guinea-Bissau. Ooh, that's nice. Hot women in Cape Verde, very easy to get citizenship if you marry one, says Matt. Yes, indeed. I was going to say, while I was there, that yes, I've got to agree. I've got to agree. And it felt this way in nearly all of the island nations that I went to around Africa, especially Madagascar. And it just goes to show that this idea that we've all got to stay in our own villages and marry our sisters and not go anywhere because you don't want to dilute the gene pool. You know, this kind of demented social Darwinist bullshit, eugenic shite. This idea of the Aryan race, which never, ever existed. It didn't exist. It was a mistranslation. Jesus. Anyway, but, all that. To be honest with you, the countries I've seen, the best looking people are the ones where people from all over the world have got together and said, hey, let's fuck. It just is. You might not like that if you're a white supremacist or whatever, but the rest of us, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, let's mix. Let's get it on. That's what I'm saying. Let's get it on. Anyway, Dolly Johnson. Indeed, Dolly Johnson. Okay, so what was I talking about? The history. Okay, so we were right up to, the 1980s. In 1990, multi-party democracy was being called for, and the MPD party came into being. It was centre-right, and it was a party of political and economic liberalisation. It swept into power in the 1991 elections, the first proper elections to be held. In 2001, the PIACV got back into power and promised to adhere to a more centralist policy, not as radically communist as they had been, and brutal fiscal and economic management. This was the IMF's doing. The IMF turned up and said, "You've got to do that. You got to do that, or we're not going to give you any money." And they went, "Oh, fuck it, okay." So yeah, the IMF works, ladies and gentlemen. President Jorge Carlos Fonseca has led the country as president since 2011. He was re-elected in 2016 with 76% of the vote, and he is part of the MPD party. And they also won the 2016 parliamentary elections, taking back the parliamentary majority after a 15-year rule by the PIACV. And then in April 2021, there was a parliamentary election, not a presidential one yet, and the MPD and the presidency of Ulysses Correia e Silva, what a great name, won the parliamentary election. And yes, they're going to have another presidential election, I think, in October. I think the first week in October. So you can look out for that if you'd like to. Okay, tourism is now the country's main growth industry. I know a lot of people who have actually gone on holiday to Cape Verde. Oh, how we laugh about it afterwards. Because I went there on holiday. I didn't go there on holiday. I went there as part of my mission to visit every country in the world. And I failed. I failed in Cape Verde. I didn't fail to get there. I mean, I just failed in making it an awesome time that everyone had a good time, and me especially, which was one of my major aims of visiting every country in the world without flying. I thought it would be fun. By jingo, it was. A lot of it was. Anyway, the country remains prosperous by West African standards. Famine is certainly no longer an immediate threat. But then again, the improvements in the lives of the average Cape Verdean remains incremental. The GDP per capita is still only £3,500 a year. Dollars a year, which isn't that much. And for those without family connections abroad, they might find it a bit difficult to get by. Let's talk about isolation. Since Cape Verde's inception, it has made its living out of its isolation. The first settlers couldn't grow the sugarcane, as I mentioned, so they turned to slavery, becoming a facilitator of slaves. They weren't necessarily the people who went to West Africa and kidnapped people or shipped them across, but they were there as a staging post, so people could take the slaves off the ship and trade them with each other, which actually happened. You'll see in the footage later. I've got some of the old slave trading posts where they used to chain men, women, and children up, and people would bid on them. People would bid. Okay? On you think that's disgusting, right? Yeah? Because it is. Let's not forget Belgium. Let's go back to Belgium for a moment. They were still putting Congolese people in human zoos in the 1950s. Okay, we haven't come that far. All right, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, so soon afterwards, the Portuguese dominated the slave trade as a result of its possession of Cape Verde. But as I said, they were superseded by the British, the French, the Dutch, everyone else. Then came the cruise ships. Then came the airplanes, stopping and refueling. It's just always been a great launch pad, I guess, for getting across the Atlantic Ocean. Also for boats as well. Lots of sailors go that way because either going to the Caribbean or coming back from the Caribbean, it's part of the cycle of the trade winds or whatever. It's right on that. So I can't remember whether you hit the Azores on the way there. I think you hit the Azores on the way back. I think if you're coming from the New World to Europe, you go via the Azores. If you're going from Europe to the New World, you often go via Cape Verde, stop off and refuel and get some more food. These days, the islands serve as a fine hopping off point for drugs. You weren't expecting that, were you? Yes, drugs from the old world. Do you know New World? Sorry. You know how our drugs, the cocaine that the elitists, the metropolitan elites like Dominic Cummings and Michael Gove and Boris Johnson, Hydrophage, no doubt consume in vast quantities, leaving a trail of blood all the way to Colombia or Bolivia, or where the fuck it comes from. And unfortunately, that trail of blood often goes through Cape Verde and through the Guineas, by the way. Guinea-Conakry in particular is pretty much a narco state. The government is propped up by drug money, and if the people speak out about it, they get fucking massacred. I hope that cocaine's worth it, kids. All that blood on your hands. Then again, oil, diamonds, gold, Jesus, anything you want in life. It's got blood on it, hasn't it? But drugs doubly so because it's stupidly illegal. But that's a discussion for another day. Based on the UN's Quality of Life Index, Cape Verde comes out top of West Africa from 1960 to 2005. Life expectancy rose from 48 years to 70 years, far higher than the sub-Saharan average. And just a little thing about the music before I head on to my footage. There's a mournful music of isolation and solitude called morna, which permeates the very soul, the very landscape of Cape Verde. It feels like a very isolated place. It feels like a forgotten place. It's not, obviously, but it's got that mournful feel about it. You don't get too many people having a laugh and having a joke with you. People take things quite seriously there. I'm not saying everybody, and I didn't meet everyone, but the people I met tend to be quite... And you know, look, people are worse in London, all right? I'm not singling out Cape Verde for this. And I met a few people who are absolutely freaking awesome, who are Cape Verdans, who are lovely and hilarious. But just by and large, my general... the way that the interactions I had with people running the place where I was staying, or people running the cafes or the cinema. I went to see Star Trek there. I went to see Star Trek, the reboot, it came out in 2009. I went to see that in Cape Verde in a little old cinema. It was great. And then I thought I was leaving the next day. And then 2 weeks later, I went to see Star Trek again, because there was not that much to do in Praia, to be honest. It's really expensive as well, really quite surprisingly expensive, as some places in Africa invariably are. Christian Cruz, hi. Graham just jumped in to give a like. Cool, lithium, allegedly. Hi, Graham from Dovecot, says the UN Special Envoy. Hi, Dovecot. Down the road from your mum's in West Derby there. Moana. No, not Moana, Morna. It's nearly Moana. Hands Bricks. Hey, Hands, how's it going? Hate will just turn on ourselves. So maybe I should just hate myself, then everything will balance out. Don't hate Boris. If you voted for Brexit, just blame yourself. I don't blame you for Brexit. I blame the people who bloody voted for it and the politicians who conned them into voting for it. But this show is not about Brexit. This show is about Cape Verde. So let's head back to Cape Verde. So a little bit of context to what you're going to see now. I was trying for a few days to get from Senegal to Cape Verde, and I found it impossible, which was a bit shit. And so I basically couldn't find any boats to take me over there. I couldn't find any cargo ships. I couldn't find any yachts. And Lonely Planet put me onto a local fixer, and he helped me get on a boat. And he told me there were no sailing boats going over there to Cape Verde. I found out later there probably were, but he said the only way to go over there was with his cousin's boat, and Mbaye, and Captain Mbaye, and his 40-foot wooden pirogue. A pirogue being a West African fishing vessel, which has an outboard motor at the back of it. And we had a big barrel full of fuel, and we headed out. I paid a lot of money for this journey. We headed out over 460 kilometers of open ocean with just a little handheld GPS unit to guide us. And as you're going to see, conditions on board were a little bit, can I say fraught? I don't know if I should say fraught. I'll just show you. I'll just show you and let you make your own mind up. Here we go. Here's getting to Cape Verde the hard way. Oh, nice. Don't you love waking up to see that? You love to see it. Oh, why is it paused? Why have you paused? No.
Just ballast. Just ballast.
Oh, yeah. That's what we want to see. just setting my camera up here, so give me a moment.
Oh, missed it. Can we go round? Whoa! Turtles! Turtles! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
Oh.
Well spotted.
I'll skip this along in a minute. I'm just gonna try and make a picture. Come on. I'm having terrible problems with my camera. Oh, look at that. There we go. Right, and now I can peer in the sea. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, Graham. Right, so this is the trip over to Cape Verde. I'm going to skip a little bit because obviously it's like an hour long and you don't want to know the whole thing. Oh, there you go. There's some, I don't know, are they loggerhead turtles? Can you tell? Can anyone tell? Looking at them?
Turtle soup for tea tonight.
That was a joke. We didn't have turtle soup. That was a joke. We didn't do that. I'm not eating turtle. I don't think I would because, you know, it's kind of endangered.
How
it's
cool is
form.
that?
Anyway, so there are little turtle friends there on the way. You meet some turtles, you meet some dolphins.
Everyone's come out on deck now. Oh, I thought for one terrifying moment they were going to catch it and make soup, but they're not. Just good.
Well, that's fortunate, isn't it, for everybody? Don't want them making soup. Okay. Oh, hello.
Oh, no.
This is in the police station. That's the policeman. Oh my God, he's signing documents. There you go. I turned my camera on secretly. Okay, so just to explain what happened there, I got my camera back off the police after being in jail for a week, and I had it on the table, and the tapes had all been rewound and stuff, so I just pressed record on it slyly so I could just get that little bit of footage of me signing documents with the police officer there. But that's why that was there. That was a week later, and now we've gone back to the turtle. So just to explain. That's us not eating turtle soup.
All over there.
Look at the fish.
I hope you're watching this and feeling as seasick as I am.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty nauseous on this journey. My stupid hat, but it did keep the sun off me, which was good. Alright, this was 4 days on this boat. 4 days on a boat. No shelter. No shelter. This was food getting cooked on the boat there.
I'm quite worried about how
having a fire on a boat, which is always a good idea when there's all like petrol lying about. No flares, by the way. No sat phone. No distress beacon.
Cape Verde, we've got a welcoming committee. Some
There we go.
fishermen over there. I think they're fishermen, I'm not quite sure. Hello, people on my boat. So, we're going in now, I think.
So
It's
this
about
is a
7 o'clock in the
Wednesday morning.
I didn't sleep a wink. I think I did sleep one wink like this, and then it was a week ago.
Me yawning. So we got a welcoming committee.
The Odyssey in the Atlantic Ocean. My name's Graham Hughes, and this is the Odyssey.
Yes! That's what I used to say at the beginning of each episode that I did on the YouTubes. Pulled 10 videos down. Moving along here. This is coming into Praia. We've got an escort.
The capital of the Cape Verde Islands.
Mock Turtles, Can You Dig It? That was a great song.
This coming in, and anywhere we can.
Right, so I'm just skipping through.
Really? And they need to clean them.
I wonder what I needed to clean. Was it my teeth? So at this point, I had no idea what was going on.
Look.
We had a welcoming committee.
So it looks like I'm on the island of the Barefoot Diva. I think I'm going to have to do my impression of her.
The island of the Barefoot Diva.
And we've had to come right into the middle of the harbour, and I'm worried now that I won't be able to set foot on dry land.
Oh, you did, Graham. Don't worry. Don't worry about that, mate. All right, there's my foot. That was the last shot before the camera got taken off me by the police. And then, yeah. The next shot is literally a week later. And yeah, so we were arrested, me and the 10 Senegalese fishermen that I went over, my bae and the crew. And yeah, we were held in this horrific jail cell. It was a holding cell. It was downstairs at the police station, so it was in the basement. There was no electric light. It was all natural light. So when it got dark on the island, then we basically had to just try and go to sleep. There was no bed. So we all just slept on the floor of this tiny cell that was designed for one person. And there was 11 of us in there. And a squat toilet. It's nice to have a squat toilet, isn't it? And yeah, it was quite unpleasant. So there were 3 cells and we were all in one. And then there were other people in the other 2 cells. And during the daytime, they would allow us out of the cell into the bigger area. And we were still in the lockup, like we couldn't go upstairs into the police station. We were still locked downstairs in the basement. But they had all stuff down there, you know, like that they had confiscated. There was an outboard motor and a bicycle and some other bits and bobs. I had my cards with me, so we played a lot of cards. Which is good. International language of playing cards. For some reason, you can pick up cards like card games a lot easier, quite easily, even if you don't speak the same language. And we made it through the days. I lost my mind on about the 4th day. I was just freaking out, going, I'm never going to get out of here. Nobody knew I was there at this point. I had texts to say, arrived at Cape Verde, we'll be heading out again, you know, soon. And then everyone in the UK, my mum, my dad, my family, my friends, everyone who was reading my blog just went, where's Graham gone? He's been missing. He hasn't texted anything. He hasn't said anything for 4 days. And then on the Saturday, there was one of the police officers had sort of taken pity on us, I think, or felt that it was a bit unfair what they were doing to us. So he allowed me to use his mobile phone. He switched out the SIM card before he did, or something like. Oh, I think he had one of those little scratch it things, you know, where you scratch the little card and it gives you a number and you punch that in and it gives you some credit. And he put some credit on his phone and he said you can use the phone. Okay, so I dialed my parents' number in Liverpool. And it didn't connect. It just like, it kind of rung, but then it didn't ring. And my heart was in my mouth. I'm like, this is my only chance to make a connection with the outside world. And then in the end, what I did was I texted my brother Mike, and because I couldn't remember his number. If you ask me now what Mike's number was, I probably couldn't tell you unless I had the keypad in front of me and I just learnt and I typed it out and I'll go, that's the number. It was just pure muscle memory. It had the same phone number by then for about 15 fucking years. So I just knew it. I just knew it, even though I hadn't used it for years. Because when do you ever type in a number on a phone? You know, unless you're calling up a tradesperson or something, it's you just don't do it, do you? You just press the name, or you don't even do that. You just pick up your phone and you say call such and such, and it calls them. Anyway, so yeah, not that I travelled with a smartphone, by the way. I just had a Nokia 8123 or something, but it was a Sony, and I had never used a Sony phone before, so I didn't know where the space key was, because it was just a keypad, like 1 to 0 with the letters in. So as a consequence, my message was like, help, full stop, stuck, full stop, in jail, Cape Verde, full stops instead of spaces. And then I sent the message. I was sweating, I was panicking. The guy was coming back to get his phone. I pressed send. I didn't get the confirmation of sending because the guy took his phone back. I didn't know if it had gone out there. And then that Saturday night was a nightmare, and I just thought, I haven't got my message out and no one knows I'm here. My mum's going to be freaking out. They're going to think I'm lost at sea. They'll be sending out, search and rescue. And then the next morning, the police came down and said, you, and took me upstairs in the police station and said there was a phone call for me. And it was a lady, I think, from the British embassy or someone representing the British embassy. I don't know if they had a proper British embassy, but it was like a consulate or something. And they said, "Hello, we've got information that you're in jail." And I was like, "Yes, can you get me out?" And they said, "Yeah, we're going to sort this out for you, and we'll get you out, and we'll keep in touch and let you know what's happening." I thought, fantastic. And at that point, I think I spoke to my parents, and I said to them, "Can you do me a favor? Can you get people to call me up, because that means I could get out of the cells for a bit." So I got phone calls off my girlfriend. I got a phone call off my brothers. I got a phone call. I did an interview. I did an interview for the BBC or something. I don't know who it was. I can't remember, but it was like a newspaper or something. I did like a proper interview in the police station, having been arrested, and had me fingerprints taken and everything. I was like, oh, bloody hell. Anyway, the next day, all of us were taken to the court, I think. Was it on the Monday we were taken to the court? I'm not sure. But then we had to go back on the Tuesday. So we went on the Monday, and then we went again on the Tuesday, because we didn't get out till the Tuesday. And Monday night was horrific, because I thought, well, that's it. We're going to be stuck here forever. And then we went back to the court on the Tuesday morning. And I think on the Tuesday morning, we went before the judge, and there was a British guy called Piran who graciously, from Sheffield, who graciously helped translate for me, so I knew what was going on. I had a court-appointed lawyer, as did the fishermen. We all had a court-appointed lawyer. And she argued that we should just all be set free because, we hadn't done anything. And also, we hadn't been charged with anything, so they couldn't do us because of habeas corpus. You show me the body. You've got to actually be charged with something when you go down. In most countries in the world, including Cape Verde, thankfully. And the prosecuting lawyer stood up on behalf of the state and said, "We agree with the defence." And I'm like saying to Piran, "Is that what they really said?" So yeah, he just said he agrees with the defence, and he sat down again. And the police chief was furious. The police chief stormed out the courtroom, slammed the door behind him. He was so angry. And I was like, "Okay, what happens now?" And they're like, "Okay, well, you got to sit outside. You got to wait for your release papers." And this is a joke in my book. If you've read about this in Man of the World, sorry if I'm going over something that you already know, but at least you're hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. But I got out, and they gave me my release papers. We had to wait for 2 hours for these release papers. It came as one sheet of A4. And just to add insult to injury, if I can hold that really close to the camera, I don't know how you can see that because obviously I'm quite small in the corner, but the font they've used is Comic fucking Sans. Are you taking the piss, man? You put me in jail for 6 days. Anyway, they thought I was people smuggling. That's fair enough. It was a breakdown of communication. I honestly bear no ill will to the Cape Verde or the people of Cape Verde. Maybe a little bit towards the police of Cape Verde for being a gang of knobheads. But yeah, you'll find in the video as we watch it, it might come across that I'm a little bit pissed off about the whole situation. Let's just run through it. Okay, so this is me getting out of jail. Well, it should be me getting out of jail, but it's frozen. Oh, there you go.
Well, welcome back. You've just had a week off from me because I've been in jail here in Praia in Cape Verde. Well, interesting week. We arrived on. Oh.
Yuli Kaluda, you're right. Yes, I was the person being smuggled.
Like this camera.
They were the smugglers.
So we arrived on Wednesday. That's Wednesday, the 3rd of June, and we got promptly arrested.
I know the words, but I can't
for
sing.
people smuggling. I've been in jail for 6 days.
That's Piran.
They wouldn't let me have a phone call or a lawyer or anything like that. And eventually went to court, and the judge basically laughed the case out because it was just so ridiculous. Well, the police are still being awkward and they won't let me have all my stuff back. They've thrown away my leather jacket.
I lost my leather jacket. I forgot about that.
And
awesome green leather jacket.
They're not giving me my GPS and things. So I'm having to go back to the lawyer and get that sorted. This guy here, his name's Piran, and he's from Sheffield, and he's the nicest bloke in the world. And he's taken me under his wing as a hapless Brit. So,
Piran let me stay at his house that night, and then after that, I was staying in a guest house, which was really surprisingly expensive for what it was.
You know, like that, soothe them.
So this is driving around Praia. This is Mitu over here. He worked for Piran and he helped me out with getting off the island and all that kind of stuff. We hung out, we drank, we partied.
Thing that's happened to Chief of Police of Cape Verde sacked.
That was me trying to get the Chief of Police sacked. It didn't work. But this is the back streets of Cape Verde. Someone's having a barbecue there, and this is Praia. It's quite nice.
Like usual trouble bit of a about me. My name's Hughes and I'm in Cape Verde.
I don't know if we used that one when I was doing the list of countries I've been to.
This is my house. You've been in my house.
Yeah. It's nice. But
Firm iron. Does anyone come and get me?
I think he's showing off his metal shoes or something. Some kids playing at tyres.
But
oh yeah, I had to shave. Got me shaved. There you go.
Sexy.
I'm going to be beating them off the stick.
Today you're going to find a girlfriend? Oops.
No, I've got a girlfriend. She just happens to be on the other side of the world. That's all. I'm going to some basket to get something to eat and a big beer. They serve beer in litre glasses here. I'm beginning to warm to Cape Verde.
There you go, you see?
Despite the
told you it wasn't that bad.
Vendetta against me.
Did have a bit of vendetta against me, but I did like the place, really. Let's go into a cafe. I'm going to skip through this. Went to a basketball game? Why not? I don't think I mentioned this in the book, but I went to a basketball game. Yeah. Oh, no good. Right. Nobody is tuning in to watch a basketball game. Graham, why did you record so much of this?
I was too much of a gentleman to look at what she had written because of
too much of a gentleman to see what she had written. I don't know if I should be showing this without actually vetting it first, because I literally haven't watched this footage. I don't think I've ever watched it, to be honest with you.
Okay, so I guess this is as good a time as any. Just 1 second.
This is just me telling the story that I just told you, basically. So I'll just skip past that because you've heard it.
Wednesday, when they had a teenager on this being police have broken the law by not informing anyone they had arrested me for not 24 hours, which is the rule, not 48 hours, which is the extenuating rule if I'm a terrorist or something, for 6 days, and they threw the case out and they said you're free to go. The fishermen stayed in the hotel room on Monday night and they were flown out on Tuesday morning. I could have been flown out too, but I'm staying true to the cause of the Odyssey and I'm going to get a boat back. I'm having to wait a week for it, but I'm still getting a boat back to Africa, the mainland.
Oh, sweet summer child.
Senegalese fishermen
take a week.
are now back in Dakar. They don't have their GPS and they obviously don't have their boat. I'm having to sort out shipping their boat back. They wouldn't let us go back on the boat.
Putting their boat on a boat and taking it back to Africa.
And I've spent the large majority of this week trying to get my kit back, trying to get my my passport back, and trying to arrange a way out of here. And the authorities have been nothing but stubborn and unhelpful, and they still think I'm a people smuggler. I'm the only people smuggler in the history of the world to not only pay the people he's smuggling to travelling with them, which people smugglers don't travel with their cargo. Yeah. Not only that, but I sent a fax to the authorities here informing them that I was going to turn up. And on top of that, I turn up in broad daylight in the biggest port in the country, waving my hat, saying, "Hi guys, where do you want me to park the boat?" I mean, where's the people smuggler ever? The way I've been treated is just reprehensible. I mean, it really is disgusting.
Chill out, Graham.
The way the authorities have treated me here, and they continue to treat me like this. They stopped and searched me yesterday, and they completely patted me down, went through all my bags and everything looking for drugs, so they could throw me back in the slammer, I assume.
I'm going to stop moaning now and move on with some of the footage. Okay, so here's some of the unseen footage of Cape Verde. I'm going to try and skip through everything where I'm just talking. Oh, shit, here's more footage of me on the boat. We've gone back in time because my tapes all got messed up because whatever. Anyway, so here's me on the boat. This is on the way, all right? This is not going back. This is on the way. That's where the other... That's where the other video came in. Oh, I see. That was just a short video. Sorry. That was just a short video. Sorry.
So,
let me have a look.
Can you turn that down a little bit?
Oh, that's better. Okay.
So, this is...
It loops back to the beginning of what a film.
Well, it's now Saturday, the 13th of June. I've been it's been 2 weeks trying to get to Cape Verde and back, more than 2 weeks.
Oh, this is before I went.
And
oh wow, this is going back in time.
That is Me Too. And that out.
Cape Verde and back. Oh, you mean
getting off this island?
Oh, I
I've
see.
been here
Cape
now
Verde and
for
back.
a week and a half.
Alright, so this is a week and a half.
Sandwich.
There's Me Too.
Or take a cafe for Latin's perhaps. Wednesday days.
This is Cafe Sophia.
Cheese and
I
ham
spent most of my days having toasted cheese sandwiches.
Oh, there
you go. It's a bit of flag. It's a bit of flag porn for you. If you like the flag. Waha! Check out the zoom on my camera.
Over here was the old police chief's home. You know.
That's a joke. It's not really. Right. I'm probably not very nice about the police in this.
Next week. Can you see this shot?
It's kind of cool going back.
I've actually... Thanks very much, Cape Verde. Do you want to kick me in the balls while you're at it?
Oh my god.
Really
I've got to make a short video of this, haven't I? I've got to make a short film. My time in Cape Verde. There's some people in it. Church procession. So basically... Oh, look, there's me in the newspaper.
After our 6-day ordeal. It's skinny there.
There you go. Local newspaper. I don't actually have a copy of this paper, I don't think. But there's me going, it wasn't me! It wasn't me! So, I was supposed to get a ship, right, back to Cape Verde, back to Africa from Cape Verde. I had paid for my passage and for this cargo ship to pick up the pirogue, put it on the ship and take it back to Africa, okay? And I paid for all that, and yet every day almost I came down to the port to get on this boat. It's called the Mikau, for it to leave, and for some reason every freaking day it didn't leave.
15 minutes ago.
Right.
I bloody...
Right, so this is me getting more and more frustrated with the situation. Great, you do look a bit like Dick Turban with the hat.
Do anything because it's too fucking expensive. There's no cinema. The beaches are... There
is a cinema. You literally went to see Star Trek there, mate. It's not windy. There's a bit where I throw my hat on the ground and stamp on it coming up. There is literally, I take my hat off and I stamp on my hat. I'm so frustrated with not being able to get off this island. And don't forget as well, at this point, I have been rattling through the countries. This was like my 85th country or something in just 5 months. And then I get there and I'm stuck there for 6 weeks in the end. So you can understand my frustration.
Video blogs because my computer is in Dakar.
Oh, I left my computer in Dakar, so I couldn't even edit the blogs or do anything. That's the Mikau. Cool. That's the Mikau. That was the boat that was supposed to take me. The boat that was supposed to take me to Africa. Supposed to.
Well,
so this is just me basically treading water for weeks on end. That was the ship we came over on. That was the boat we came over on. That was Mustafa's side.
On my top kids don't want to speak. New rule. Senegal.
Police here are
Indeed. So what's this called?
Keshupa.
Keshupa. And this is like a traditional Cape Verdean dish.
There you go, traditional dish.
This is corn.
Oh, it's really nice. It's got little sausages in it.
Cooked by beans and meat, fish. It's a mix, you know. It's a traditional Cape Verdean food.
There you go, traditional Cape Verdean food. It was very good.
A little bit of an Odyssey reference here. The mayor of Praia is called Ulysses.
And 2 years later, he became the president of Cape Verde. Same guy. There you go. Little reference for you there.
Your permission on board.
Okay. Excellent. So
that was my permission to get on board the ship, to get out of there. The ship didn't leave. It was loads of paperwork, lots of frustration. Went to see Star Trek. Hang on.
Movie. I've said
a siren going off.
Let's go back. Get me out of here!
Get me out of here. I was just begging people. You got a boat? You got a boat? Some pats. Some yanks.
Oh, thank you. Aha. Wow. This is proper old school cinema. Oh, hang on. I forgot my change. You got my change? Ooh, I need that. I'm going to buy some popcorn.
That's me buying.
Okay, thanks.
Buying the ticket
right. I've got my ticket for Star Trek. Get in.
I went and got some street popcorn as well.
I've just been informed that my boat will not be leaving. Not tomorrow, not the day after, but the day after that, Monday. I'm here for another 3 days. I've been here for 3 weeks.
There you go.
Fuck!
Look, hat on the ground. I'm jumping up. I'm literally jumping on my hat. Like Yosemite Sam.
Head being here. It's the shittest place on earth. There's nothing to do.
I'm sorry, Cape Verde. I was just
Fuck, I just want to leave.
It's the shittest place on earth. Oh, I'm sorry.
I need to wee. Which means I need to go in a bucket.
That was me back on the boat saying I need to go for a wee. Right, so they calmed down at this point.
So it doesn't look like,
there's a lot of this just me whinging at the camera. Stop whinging, Graham.
Plans. Is there anything?
Night vision, always looks a bit creepy. Always looks a bit Buffalo Bill. Cape Verde for so long. This is 3 weeks into my adventure. I think I only had 2 tops.
It's now the afternoon, Tuesday the 23rd of June. It looks like it's going to rain, actually, which is quite unusual for Cape Verde, but there you go. We don't think that the
got your leather jacket back. No, that was the old bit of footage. It keeps looping round when it gets to the end of each video clip. It goes back to the first video clip. You know, VLC media player does
that I wanted to get from Sal. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get it because there's no real way of getting my passport back. And then if I do get it back and go to Sal, I might get done for not having a visa when I get there.
Oh God. So like I didn't have my passport back until I had passage out. And I couldn't get passage out until they got me passport back. It was just, it was like Kafka. It was like Kafka Verde.
So we're just outside the Cape Verde state television program, people. Or maybe not state television. We're outside the television place in Cape Verde.
It was state television. It was national television.
In the port.
I had to send some footage over to Lonely Planet in Australia, like news footage of my arrest, which they then used on the TV show.
Tonight, then Migos coming in tonight.
Okay.
Okay?
So the boat's coming in tonight. This is like 4 weeks into my Cape Verde odyssey. That was where I was staying. I was literally staying over the road from that. That was the court. That was the court, the Palace of Justice. That's where I was.
Wait, my boat's
balcony there.
Helping.
I think it was like
down.
It was like 25 bloody euro a night or something.
My friend Val over here.
Tiny
Say hello, Val. Hi. We are going to get me on a yacht that's leaving from another island, an island called Sal. And if I can get on that, then I can just go to Dakar.
The guy reckoned he could get me a boat from another island. But I think he was a bit of a con man. He didn't actually get me on anything. He did faff around for a long time. Oh, sorry, I've gone back to the beginning again. Sorry, I keep finishing the tape because the video file. So these are all video files.
I just found out the Mikau is definitely not going anywhere anytime soon, and there's no other boats leaving for Dakar at all. Might be able to get on a yacht, but that's not leaving until next Monday, the earliest, and then it might not leave then. It's Thursday today. This place is death.
I love watching me be tortured.
She's working in Italy for a number of years. She's a journalist.
Ask them small.
I'm just skipping.
Michael Jackson died.
Oh, Michael Jackson died?
Slow on the island here.
Michael Jackson died. There you go. That's something that happened while I was on Cape Verde.
I think it's about £100, but the flights are all full until the 5th of July, so I can't even fly out of here.
Let's do a voiceover series about each country, says Jay. We're really popular.
What?
To feature me.
What a dead end.
Alright, anyway, so I've honestly got hours of footage of this, so... Oh, look, there you go, that's cool.
To find out what it was all about.
Okay, what's this?
Basically a chalk ice on a stick.
Yes, they are. That's what a Magnum is, mate. Oh, we went out on a bit of a car ride around the island.
I'm still incarcerated.
Second house. No.
There's Yuri.
Yeah, there's my second home.
Cheers, Yuri.
Thursday,
Played a lot of chess against Yuri while I was there. He worked at the Cafe Sophia.
Chris budget for the grim. Bigger jail. I'm still in jail. I'm still locked in a prison. Looks like this.
Can't get off this fucking island.
A bit of an update. It's now Tuesday the 30th of June. I'm still at Cafe Sophia. I've been here all month. I'm with Inez.
Hi.
And her friends. Hello. Say hello.
My cousin.
And your cousin. Hello. She's got cool glasses. At the moment, me too and Val, or as I like to call them, the Chuckle Brothers, are down at the dock trying to organise the pirogue getting lifted into the dock. And then someone else is going to organise with the dock to lift it into the Mikau. And then maybe the Mikau will leave sometime this millennium. In time. You want to
We'll be lucky. Paid for a bloody crane and paid.
Yeah, that's probably
$500 for a crane to put the boat
apparently
on the other boat.
Now, my
And they
funny
didn't do
isn't
So there's a point where I go out.
So today is July the 5th. It's actually Cape Verde Independence Day. So there's a big party at the beach in Praia, and here in Ciudad Vela, there's a bit of concerts on, bit of singing, bit of music, bit of dance. That's what me doing today.
Bit of distorted music.
The capital of Cape Verde, Graham.
Oh, cool. We're still here.
Capital
Thomas.
of
Still mates with him as well. Actually, I'm still mates with a lot of people on this video. It's cool.
Hang on, that.
I should have told them we were going to be doing this tonight.
So it's obviously the opposite of Plateau, which isn't very nice. The beaches are dirty and not very nice.
There's an American who's worked all over Africa.
So I might only have another couple of days here before I finally escape from this dungeon of hatred and putrid ferocitude.
Yeah, right, Graham, keep your tits off. Right,
yeah, there's copyright.
good roads around the country, which is unusual for Africa.
Actually quite pleasant.
That's me actually saying it's actually quite pleasant.
A country in Central America put together. Yeah, best. So most of my time here in Praia, most of my time here in Cape Verde has been spent at Cafe Sophia. It's the best place to meet people, eating overpriced sandwiches.
Exciting stuff. I read on the beach to cheer me up. Everyone dies in the end. Spoilers.
Sometime soon we might be back here and
40 years in Africa.
you know, driving through.
Sounds quite British.
It's cool when you see like your old
Sounds
book
quite
on
British.
No.
No, 40 years in Africa.
Ah, yeah.
British people.
Be here, am I? Time. Was it this CD?
Yeah, but today's
Me too.
We're going to get back there.
They just some.
So this is basically what I did for 6 weeks. I just sat there reading the book. And the beer was called Strella. Not Stella, but Strella. See, that's I got a Strella shirt. I wonder what happened to that. Oh, I'm back on my boat. Alright, sorry. This has just gone back to the next video.
Phone me.
Okay.
Off Milan, who's going to be my saviour, the guy from Germany. He says, yes, today in the evening we are ready and test all. We see us tomorrow at 12 on the plateau. Yes!
So,
This means I'm leaving.
What a girl called Callie had put me in touch with a guy called Milan, who was on another island. He was on the island of Mayo.
One of them in jail. But
He said that he would come on his boat,
I'm going to go,
pick
but
me
I'm
up
not
with
going
his
to get too excited,
and
just
take
in
me
case
back
everything goes
to
horribly wrong
Africa.
at the last minute. Mitch, got your tongue. And that's his nice Strella fridge over there. Can't remember. Can I?
That's Callie.
Me. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
And it's just crazy.
I should be gone tomorrow, so take care.
Good luck. How are you getting out in the end?
On a yacht, German guys coming from another island to pick me up.
Must be much better anyway.
I know. It's like Dunkirk, but with a German saving me. They won the place.
Sorry, that's really funny. Oh, shit. I can't believe I said that.
If you threaten the dead in daylight, here's an in people Cape Cafes.
Oh my god, so basically the boat that I was supposed to be leaving on, the cargo ship, didn't end up leaving port. So this German guy and this French guy, they came, Milan and Sebastian, came from another island to meet me. That's me playing chess against Yuri. We had a lot of chess games, me and Yuri. He beat me all the time. I was so shit at it. I barely remember how it was played. There we go, there's Milan. Oh! That was me when I got my passport back.
No.
Please let me touch it. Just let me touch it. It's been so long, yes. Yes.
Hadn't had my passport for a month.
I've got my fucking passport, yes.
Anyway, so there you go. That's Milan.
Clearly, and I can bring you back to the car.
We had a boat called the Flummel.
It's all good. Hopefully, it's only.
Oh, I'm back on the bloody. I keep forgetting to check when the video is ending. Right.
Yeah, but I wanted to meet my new friends. This is Milan. This is Sebastian. And guess what?
It's your German rescue, aren't they?
Yes, I'm getting rescued by the Germans. It's a beautiful thing.
Making a joke. I just take EPS. Fucking
Thomas
Vogons,
from,
mate. Vogons.
from-
Have you watched
from
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Vogons.
Yes, Bogan.
It really has.
So say goodbye to all my mates that I've made over the last. I'll show you Yuri. He's the top bloke.
That's too disgraceful, really, isn't it? It's not family viewing. Wow.
I think we left at night, but like we got on the boat and the boat didn't move.
To see anything?
I'm seeing how to get it. Is there a
Including.
This is my last night. We got a taxi down to the port. Got in on the boat at night time.
I think we should go really slowly.
Took a dinghy out to the boat. Got on the boat, and then we just stayed on the boat. We didn't move, and then the next morning,
No wind.
no wind, and we were completely at the mercy of the elements because we didn't have an engine on the boat.
Let's just start the motor and go.
There is no motor. Oh, the motor was broken.
You want me to?
Some fishermen doing their fishing stuff. Can we get out of here, please?
Very good.
Yeah.
I like the people. And for, I don't know,
100 years was the last slave, it's the right word?
Yeah.
Slaves? Yeah, okay. Was the last slaves here. And when you want, looking for trouble with the black people, he found every day one thing he can give you back. He never lost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you come as a white guy here and you're looking for trouble, you have no chance. Because we are guests here and the history of the country. But normally the people here are not bad. You're very friendly. You can have a good life here. And 150
He lived in
Cape Verde.
Cape Verde at the time.
Rather than the
He
people
lives in
prior.
Brazil now.
That's
the Macau. That's actually a close-up of the Macau. Just so you know, sorry, we'll just go back to that.
So rusty.
Basically, I think that's the Macau. I think that's the boat that I was waiting to get onto. That boat is now below the waves off the island of Sao Tome. I've read someone sent me a newspaper article about it. It went down in the water. No one died, but the reason why it wasn't allowed to leave Cape Verde was because it was failing like all kinds of safety things, because it just hadn't been looked after, it hadn't been maintained, and the authorities were like, "You're not leaving here until this ship is seaworthy." And trying to make it seaworthy, they were like, "Yeah, not going to do that." There's a note here about someone getting a new passport. I think it's from Jay. Jay, I'm getting a new passport soon. The girls got their new passports, because obviously kids' passports in the last 5 years. They got new passports today, and they're so shite. They are so shite, because like it's not just the colour and the fact that they don't allow you to live and work in other countries anymore. Inside, on the old passports, the sort of post 2009 passports, they had birds on each page and stuff, and then the last lot of burgundy passports, they had all like British monuments and buildings and things. They had the Liverpool Cathedral in there, they had the Angel of the North, they had all these different landmarks on each page. It was just like the amount of design work that had gone into it was just fabulous. I really, really loved it. And yet, for some reason, they've got rid of that and basically replaced it with just like a circle in the middle of the page and not much else. So I'm trying to find. I'll try and find a page that hasn't got too many stamps on. That's not too many stamps for me. But these ones have birds on them, and then the more newer ones after that, they had weather patterns on them. So I think my latest one has weather patterns on it, maybe. And then it had structures, and then they've just gone back to just being really, really boring. But what I particularly love about the weather pattern passports, these are the ones issued. I got this in 2014. On the crease there's a thermometer, and it's got the temperature in Celsius and in Fahrenheit, and the mercury on the temperature goes up with each page, and it's the number of the page. So on page 21, the mercury is at 21 degrees C. Big question being, because this is a bumper passport, this is a larger passport than normally 32 pages. What happens once you go off the top of the line, because it only goes up to 35 on the thermometer? Well, then it changes to the Fahrenheit numbering system, and it joins in on 35 there, on 35 Fahrenheit. I know it's really small on the screen, but, you know, that kind of attention to detail I fucking love, because nobody notices, nobody cares, but somebody did. Okay, so yes, where was I? I was escaping from Cape Verde. So let's have a quick view of this, because there's some really nice footage on this of
Coming up to midday,
some of our friends in the sea, in the ocean. So Milan taking me there. It took about a week to get back. We had no power, no refrigeration. So we eating that goddamn bun.
It's a taxi. And Milan.
Oh, hello. That went by too fast, Graham. That feels like it's missed a big chunk out, because we're leaving Cape Verde there, right? We're skipping forward 10 seconds.
So you get a bit of.
We're still at Cape Verde. You see Cape Verde, and then there's that shot. me just talking into the wind. There being no wind, we literally just bobbed up and down for several days.
Overhead on the beach.
Well, it looks like we're here. And then suddenly we're in Africa.
Wait.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened there. Oh, here we go. Oh, I must have started filming at the wrong point. There's a dolphin there. Saw a dolphin. Can you see a dolphin?
Hello,
oh no,
Mr. Ray.
It's a ray. You see the ray in the water?
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw a ray. That's pretty cool. That's huge. I think that's a manta ray.
I totally just stole it. Here's my office here.
Yeah?
So
Yeah. Here's my planet sphere. Sorry. A stingray.
I don't think it's a stingray. That might be. It's literally ray. Sorry, this has been rewound and taped over and stuff.
It was going about 3-4 knots, and at this rate we should be there by next Christmas.
Flaming lips on the boat.
Burning like. I didn't get my camera out in time, unfortunately, so I missed it.
Get my camera out.
The seats.
Now this was fun because while we were in the boat, then some dolphins came along, and then lots of dolphins came along. Check this out. Watch. See the dolphins in the water? You will when they. Where? There they are. And then. There you go. There was something at the front of the boat.
Squadron of dolphins!
And then some more dolphins came. So this is me sitting on the very front of the boat, on the bow of the boat, some legs either side, the barrier, and got all these dolphins. Look at this! Look at this! In front of the show for us. It's amazing. I might never have seen this had Cape Verde not been so difficult. But yeah, they hung around with us for about an hour, just swimming with our boat. And then, if you look here, you'll see. Can you see that water spout there?
Look at these guys.
A couple of sperm whales. Watch. There they are. See the sperm whale? Hooray!
Whoa! Woohoo!
There you go. Pay lots of money to go whale watching, and yet not see them. There they are. Just like basically in the sea.
How cool! I can tell you. It's a very great feeling. Yeah.
Oh yes, and then more dolphins came. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this. This is my footage. I filmed this. I had my feet in the water. Like a dolphin. Look how many there are. It's insane. What are these dolphins doing here? Amazing beasts. Look at this. And synchronized, all come out the water. Way! Like who organised that? Who told them to do this? Had they been rehearsing?
Yeah, I'm filming.
I mean, just how? I'm just amazed. But like, there's how many's there? It's 20, isn't there? It's got to be at least 20.
There must be about 30 dolphins.
30? Oh, I'm saying 30 there.
Awesome.
Look at that. How cool is that footage? I told you it was good. I told you it was worth waiting for.
Well, okay.
Sunset. Oh, Milan asleep.
It's okay.
Yeah, he's
On the
sleeping.
guitar. Hey, look at her.
Milan was basically awake the whole night. I don't think he slept. I was like, let me take the helm, and he was like, no. Anyway, oh shit, it's gone back to the beginning again. Ah, stop doing that. Okay, so I think you get the idea that we are almost definitely back.
You're very dark in the corner.
Oh yes, we're off the boat at this point. So we're back in
It's
Senegal.
going to be at the bottom of the slants rather than at the top again. What's my phone doing? What's the outcome?
That was my camp surf host.
An idea. We could
Yeah.
through Jared's house, drop my stuff.
Go. And then I went and met up with the fishermen and tried to arrange getting the boat back to the bloody Senegal. So there you go. I'll just quickly try and make myself disappear and reappear in like magic, and What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I do. I need to just click on that, and then double click that, and then click on that, and then click on that. Lots of things to do, and then press OK, and then I'm back in the room. There you go. Right, what time is it? Oh my God, it's 11:30. Sorry that went on a bit. I had loads of footage. I didn't realise I had that much footage of Cape Verde, but I had shitloads of footage of Cape Verde. I think next time what I'll do is I'll queue it up. So I'll just pick the video files that I want, put them all on a queue, so it doesn't start going back to the first one every time it gets to the end of one. Right. So basically, that's it. The island of Cesária Évora. The barefoot diva, and that was my experience in Cape Verde. I think you saw a bit more of it than literally anybody else has, and I haven't really gone through that footage before, except the bits that I knew that were there. I was like, oh, and there's a bit with dolphins, so I'll grab that bit. But yeah, that was pretty good. And also, just want to say, like that footage with the dolphins, the second lot, like I haven't messed around with the colouring on that or anything, or graded it or anything. That was just literally the view. The water was that blue with that many dolphins in. It's fabulous. Dr. Doolittle Hughes. Graham is hunting jaws. And no, I did not vote for Brexit. JD maximum 90 days out of 180 rolling. Yep. But what happens if you overstay? If you get overstayed, Jay, what will happen is you'll be put on a blacklist for being able to get a visa waiver. Like I'm on the blacklist for America. I can't get a visa waiver now. I'm blacklisted for life. So if I ever want to visit America, I've got to get a full visa, even if I'm just changing planes, and it costs £150. So there's a good chance that if you get blacklisted for going to Europe, you will have to pay for a visa. I mean, the visa might last for 10 years, great, but still, 150 quid, and you'll never be able to work there, like never. Won't be getting a green card anytime soon. JD, super chat, £10. Woo! Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate it. Thanks for a great show. Don't know, depends on what country you're in at the time. Says conservator. And I'm just going to go and have a look at the super chats because I am trying to read it on the repeat thing that I've got here. And it doesn't show up my super chats too well. So I may well have missed out some super chats, which would be very remiss of me, I fear. There we go. €7 for a 3-year visa from 2023. Indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Oh, right. I wouldn't be getting on that boat. No place like home. Listen, right. If anyone has given me a super chat. Oh, they have. Adam has given me a super chat. So have you since figured how you would get from Cape Verde nowadays on an Odyssey Star budget? Was Senegal the right place to set out from? Yes and no. I don't think that I would set out from Senegal necessarily. Again, I think what I might be tempted to do is go down into Morocco and then go back to Spain or Portugal. So literally go over to Morocco, tick it off the list, and then go back to Spain and get a cargo ship from Spain or Portugal that'll take me to Cape Verde. And then once I got to Cape Verde, I'll be able to move around the different islands. Because don't forget, I didn't have my passport. You saw me get my passport back. And without the passport, I couldn't go to another island. Because if I was stopped by the police, they'd be like, where's your passport? I'd be like, oh, it's on another island. They'd be like, no, that's not good enough. And I could have spent another week in jail. So I didn't want to do that, obviously. So I would probably try and arrange things. So maybe I got a cargo ship from Europe to Cape Verde, get off in Cape Verde, get on a boat from Cape Verde, probably to, and then it's gonna sound mad, but Guinea-Bissau, right? Because there's a lot of trade between Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau, and that'll be more likely that I'll get one or a sailing boat to Senegal, one of the two, right? And I've got to tell you, that footage at the end where me and Milan and Sebastian, who are on the sailing boat coming back, we were in a bar having something to eat, and there was a French family in that bar, and they literally said, where you been? Oh, Cape Verde. I said, oh, we're going to Cape Verde, and then they asked me if I fancy going back because they needed some help on the ship, and I was just like, if only you were here 6 weeks ago. But yeah, I'll do that, and then what I'll do is I would travel from Guinea-Bissau north. I'll go through Casamance in Senegal, through the Gambia, through northern Senegal to Mauritania. I will cross the border into Mauritania, get me photo in Mauritania. Hello, I'm in Mauritania. Maybe stay the night, and then come back into Senegal and travel over to Mali. So that's what I'd do a bit differently with Cape Verde. One thing I would do as well is there was quite a lot of trying to suss out how to get from one place to the next. Once I got there in the first year, so I didn't try and suss out how to get off Antigua until I got to Antigua, and I didn't try and get off the US Virgin Islands until I got to the US Virgin Islands. I didn't try really to get from Florida to Cuba until I got to Florida. I mean, I had put in an application for a special dispensation to be able to go to Cuba with the US Treasury Department or something, but apart from that, and then when I got to Cape Verde, I didn't try and organise anything until I got to Senegal, really. And the same thing happened to me in Gabon, where I didn't organise anything till I got to Gabon to get over to Sao Tome. The same thing happened to me again. I'm sorry, it's like I sound like a broken record here with getting to Comoros and then getting to Madagascar. I knew there was a ferry from Madagascar to Mauritius, so that wasn't a problem. But then getting back to Africa after that, I got stuck in Comoros on the way back for 3 weeks. And then I think at the end of the first year, I'd actually arranged, or my friend Dino had actually arranged for me to take a boat from Djibouti to Egypt. So that was waiting for me. That had been arranged in advance. And also my cousin Christian had arranged for me to travel on the Imeskip boat that you saw last week in Canada. And that took me across the Atlantic, took me to Newfoundland, then it took me to Iceland. And that was arranged in advance as well. But a lot of the other little hops weren't. And I wish I'd arranged them in advance, basically. I should have done. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a professional team. I had my friends and I had my family who were helping out when they could, while keeping down a full-time job, studying for a PhD, raising children, doing all the other things that you have to do in your life. So I wasn't necessarily a priority, although, like, oh my God, the things that Dino and Lorna and Christian and my mum and dad managed to sort out for me were absolutely freaking incredible. But at the same time, I was aware that they actually had their own lives to lead, and I couldn't just call them up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, "Hey, quick, make a call to a shipping company." So yeah, that was an issue. But I think if it was good to do it again, I think I could do it in 2 years. I think I'd definitely do it in 2 years if I did it again. But I'd have everything lined up. I'd have it all lined up, and I know which way I would do it. I'll do things slightly differently to how I did it that time, and I might be tempted, I know this might be heresy, but to start in the UK and actually travel east and then go across the international date line to America and then cross the Atlantic. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I did it, I started in South America because I didn't want to waste so much time crossing 2 oceans. But to be honest with you, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. I mean, I know the Pacific takes a bloody long time to get across, but going to all the islands in the Pacific was the difficult bit. If I just wanted to cross the Pacific, there are shitloads of boats that go across the Pacific every freaking day. So that wouldn't be the difficult thing to try and organise. And people ask me, what was the hardest country to get to? And they always imagine it's going to be North Korea. And they're usually quite surprised when I say Seychelles. Why Seychelles? Because of all the Somali pirates. Meant that there were no cargo ships that would take me. There was no yachties, and the cruise ships were generally avoiding the area. So yeah, that made it very difficult to get to the Seychelles. North Korea, you pay some money, you can go to North Korea. That's it. They don't care. They just want your money. Anyway, so yeah, thank you very much for the super chat there, Adam. And I'm sorry if I missed any other super chats. If you want to, if they want to flood in now, out of sympathy for my plight of being thrown in jail for a week in Cape Verde and then telling some jokes that I probably shouldn't have told, feel free, because I'm going to sign off soon. £158 for a passport, I know. How much did it cost overall? Asked Jay. It was, we worked it out, or I worked it out after I finished. I think it came to about £27,500. So that worked out sort of $7,000 a year, but the first year was a lot more expensive, basically because of Cape Verde. Whereas year 3 was a lot less expensive because I didn't travel for most of year 3, except to travel home. My sister was ill. I spent time in the UK with my sister. Unfortunately, she passed away, and then I went back to Australia, and it took me 6 months before I wanted to get, back on the horse and start finishing the journey. By that time, I'd been to 184 countries. I only had 16 left to go. And then in the July of 2011, South Sudan became a country. So it became 17 countries that I had left to go. So there was all in all, the whole cost of the travel, the lodgings, the food, the visas, all that kind of stuff came to about £27,500. And if you think about how much people spend on cigarettes and their pets, $7,000 a year to get you to every country in the world, that's a good deal. Although I was catching lifts with strange men on their boats. I was taking public transport. I ate street food. I never really ate at a fancy restaurant unless someone else was paying. And I couch surfed everywhere. So most of the places I stayed, I wasn't actually paying to stay there. After the mysterious cities of gold, yes. Sorry to hear about your sister. Yeah, that really took the wind out of my sails, and it was really hard to get going again after that happened. But she said before she died that she didn't want me to stop because of her, because she was in the hospice. It was cancer, cervical cancer. It got to the point where we knew there was nothing that could be done, and she said to me, Don't. You've only got 16 countries to go. Don't stop because of me. £20 a day. That's really a shoestring budget. £20 a day. Is that how much it was? Yeah, that'll be about right, because it was about £100 a week. That's really a shoestring budget. Yes, it was really a shoestring budget. I mean, that was what part of the appeal to me, was proving that it could be done, and it could be done on a small budget. Because I wasn't flying, I wasn't spending loads of money, I wasn't staying in fancy hotels unless someone else was paying for it. And in the second year, halfway through the year, the TV show that was made at the behest of the BBC by Lonely Planet, it was screened on the National Geographic Adventure Channel, and it was on in all the Arabic countries. It was on in India, it was on in China, Hong Kong. It was on in Indonesia, Malaysia. And so the second half of that year, everywhere I went, because, wearing the hat makes me quite distinctive. It's one of the reasons why I wear it, that I'm keeping the sun off my head, and also not letting people know how little hair I've got left these days. But that's what happens when you wear a hat for 20 years. I do take it off when I go to bed. But yeah, so that meant that from that moment on, had this 8-part TV series, and it was getting repeated. Like, it was just getting repeated ad nauseum. And so when a lot of people turned on to the National Geographic Adventure Channel, which was one of the few English language stations that was free to air, so everyone had it. I got recognised quite a lot for being the guy trying to travel to every country in the world. So the second half of 2010, I mean, bloody hell, I got wined and dined, and I hardly spent anything, which was amazing. Did they pay you decent money, says JD? No, they didn't pay me at all. If anyone knows any decent lawyers who'll work for free, because I did actually make a TV show. You can look it up on the Internet Movie Database. An 8-part TV show. And I filmed 99% of it myself. With my camera at arm's length. A year of my life in some of the most dangerous countries in the world. And the money they gave me didn't cover my expenses for the first year. And I've just told you how much I spent. Okay? Yeah, put that together. Yeah. So yeah, that's criminal. I know it's criminal, but it's the BBC, and they have a tyrannical power relationship. And that's why Jimmy Savile got away with it for so many years, because when someone says, do you want to be on the BBC? You don't say no. It gets worse. I was asked to be do a TED Talk in America, in California, with like Bill Gates and Bono and other people like that who are like famous and shit. Do you say no to that? Of course you fucking don't. Did they pay me? No, they don't pay their TED Talk people. Okay, that's fair enough. Did they pay for my flight? Did they pay for my accommodation? The night before I gave my TED talk, I slept in the fucking hire car in the desert in Palm Springs. This actually fucking happened. I slept in the hire car because I just finished the journey. I was skint. You know, I didn't have any money. They get met like at the end of a journey like that with a big novelty check from Guinness World Records. Well done for finishing that journey. Here's £20,000. Just doesn't work that way. I had loads of credit card debt, and I was like, shit. But yeah, you don't say no, do you? And the people who work for these companies, I'm sure they've got all the best of intentions, but they do not understand the tyrannical power relationship that ensues by having such an incredibly large company. And don't forget, the BBC is the only show in town. Forget about ITV, forget about Channel 4. In this country, if you want to make it as a TV presenter, as a travel presenter, you need to get on the BBC. It's as simple as that. So if they say, here you go, here's your contract, you go, okay, and you sign it. Because at that time, you can't afford a good showbiz lawyer who'll look at it and go, Graham, they're not actually paying you to make this, you know. But I'm sure the producers I'm sure they paid off their mortgages and everything worked out for them. Where's your TED Talk filmed? Would be interesting. Yes, I've done 7 TED Talks, by the way. I've done 7. I did one from Ginger Island. I did one like TEDx Liverpool. I did from Ginger Islands. But yeah, all my TED Talks are available. Just type in Graham Hughes TED into the Googles. Yes, morning, says Bayerberg. Indeed. Is it midnight yet? Nearly. Okay, so if you'd like to head over to the Discord server, we're going to wrap the show up now, I'm afraid. I've got to head off. I've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drive to Edinburgh for my first paid filming job since December 2019. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. I had a bunch of filming jobs set up for March 2020, and they all got cancelled because of COVID-19. And I haven't done any filming jobs since. Not professional stuff, not professional where I've turned up with my kit and everything. So yeah, all TED Talks are available online. They are indeed. So I've done, if you want the list, I've done TED Active in America. I've done TED Liverpool Youth. I've done TED Liverpool, TEDx Liverpool. Done TEDx Brixton, TEDx Bath University, TEDx Sheffield, and the biggest TEDx event in the UK, which is TEDx Salford, which is held at the Lowry. Okay, I watched a Canal Boat channel who've done previously, who have been approached by the BBC and turned them down because they do better on YouTube and have control. Well, Lee, that was the thing. I was making videos every week for YouTube, and my first video had over 250,000 views. Okay. And like, that's phenomenal. I mean, that was from nothing. That was just, I don't know how it happened. I think YouTube might have featured it on its front page back in the day when YouTube had a front page. Do you remember? And it got shitloads of views. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I was making these videos. So I'm editing these videos on my little Dell laptop while I'm traveling. And at the end of each week, I uploaded the video. And also write me blogs every day as well. Jesus Christ. You know, the Odyssey Expedition site is theodysseyexpedition.com. It's got, I think, something like 750 blog entries, and it runs into 800,000 words. No, 600,000 words, which I believe is more words than there are in the Old Testament. So I was quite productive in the years that I was traveling. But yeah, in the first 6 months, I was putting up these videos each week. And then that happened in Cape Verde. And then I got back to Africa, and one of the things I got told when I got back to Africa by the production company was that I had to take down all of my YouTube videos because they wanted to re-upload them with like a watermark or something. And I was like, well, if you re-upload them, I'm going to lose quality. But aside from that, I've already got all these viewers, all these views on the video, and it wasn't quite like it is now. You know, you got subscribers. YouTube at that point was only 4 years old. It was still kind of in its infancy. And they hadn't quite sussed out how it all worked yet. And to get a video that had 250,000 views back then was like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. And yet, because I'd signed the contract, they were like, well, this is our copyright now. So you have to take all the videos down. So I took them all down and waited for them to put the watermarks on and put them back up, and they never did. So I couldn't even make money from YouTube. And I got no money for the TV show either. So I got fucked both ways. But I've still got all the footage from years 2, 3, and 4 And I've shown them on my show now and again. I get my box out and go, here's all the tapes, but I've still got them. They're on hard drives. And I'd love to make another. I could make another 2 series out of it, because you've got or seasons, I should say. So the first show, or the first 8 episodes covers the first year. I could make another one covering the second year, next 8 episodes, and then another one. But to have the time to do that, I need some money. I need some recreation money. I'd spend a month doing it. I could do it. I could put it all together, voiceover, sound, visuals, everything. I've got it all ready. But it's just having the time, having the money. But look, I don't want to sound ungrateful, because I think that in some ways, had I not been backed by Lonely Planet and the BBC and National Geographic, I might not have been able to do it. Because I had that letter, didn't I? I had the letter that said, I am making a TV show for these people. And that opened a lot of doors for me, especially getting on cargo ships and stuff like that. So it swings and roundabouts. I'm not bitter about the journey. I had a fucking awesome time. I know I had some difficulties at some points where I got into jail, a holding cell for a week in Cape Verde, and then for having to get in Congo. But aside from that, the rest of it was a bloody good laugh. And I had a pretty good relationship with the people at Lonely Planet, and they got screwed over as well. Because when the BBC bought Lonely Planet in 2008, I think, they were going to make it all digital and make it all amazing, and they just broke up the company. They kind of fucked it over. They then sold it at a massive loss, about £50 million loss or something, to an American tobacco baron. This actually happened. And a lot of the people who I worked with on the TV show, they lost their jobs. They wound up the TV production, which was ridiculous, because the TV production side of things didn't cost the Lonely Planet anything, because they got a commission. So whoever, National Geographic, will say, here you go, here's £500,000, go and make a TV show about a guy, pogo sticking around the world or whatever it is. And they'll go, great, okay. And they'll go and make the show. And the show would only cost maybe £400,000 to actually shoot. And they'll keep the other £100,000 for themselves. It was a win-win. And you stamp it Lonely Planet, you get free advertising. But the BBC are shit scared of Rupert Murdoch. And because of that, they were like, oh, well, it's really bad that we also own the biggest... he kicked off a big stink about the fact that the BBC had bought the world's biggest travel book company. Can you see, why that horrible Australian dirty digger bastard would hate that? And so, also, Rough Guide, and don't forget, do you remember in the 90s, there was the Rough Guides on BBC Two, part of Deaf 2, I think, with Simon Anstell, I think, I want to say, and I've forgotten the name of the woman, but they had a Mazda MX-5, and they travelled around the world, but it was the Rough Guides, and it was sponsored basically by the Rough Guides. So the Rough Guide were pissed off as well, not least because Rough Guides are a British travel book and Lonely Planet are Australian travel books. So they were like, what the fuck, BBC? So the BBC got a lot of flack from this from all sides. And then they just made a whole hash. They made a whole hash of it. I'm thinking of writing a book about it. Or maybe I'll just do you know what I could do? And I just thought of this, because I was watching a really, really good ContraPoints video today on Envy. If you type in ContraPoints Envy, she's one of the best video essayists out there. She's bloody brilliant. Anyway, I just thought I'll do a video essay about what happened to Lonely Planet. I'm going to call it Stabbed in the Backpack. It's going to have a backpack with a knife in it and a pool of blood underneath. Just explain all this. What happened with the BBC? No one talks about it. Make a video about it. Put it on YouTube. Maybe they'll sue me. I don't know. Midnight. Go to bed now. Okay, all right. You've had the experience of a lifetime. I bet the people that have been to every country now is in the low thousands. Probably, but no one else has done it without flying, Jay. No one else on this planet so far has done it without flying. There's a guy who's trying. I think he's got about 5 countries left to go. But when he finally gets there, it will still have taken him 4 years longer than it took me. So, yes. So you won't get my Guinness World Record off me. Do you have copyright for the other years? Yes, Lee. That's all mine. That's all mine. They only had the first year. I've got all the years after that. Also... Sorry, guys. I didn't, but I must have touched my microphone and this little spit guard here. Press the mute button. I'm sorry. Sorry, can you hear me now? Best comic timing of the word also followed by silence in history. Okay, sorry. There's a mute button inconveniently placed right by the guard. So I must have pressed the guard and it must have pressed the button in. Sorry. Sign language, Graham, please. I love you. Right, I'm going. Bye. That's naughty, by the way. In sign language, it's the only one you know. You know, you see someone who does sign language, you wink over to them and you go, they love that. Right, anyway, you got to admire how animated Graham is. It's 0000. Well, it's still 23:59 where I am. We can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, so thank you for watching. Right, I'm going to Scotland tomorrow. I'm going to Edinburgh. I'm working all day and then I'm driving back to Durham. I hope I will be back in time to do a show tomorrow with Marcus about Ginger Island, okay? If we can't for whatever reason, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to try my best to do a show about Ginger Island tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to join us for that, you are very welcome. If you want to head over to the Discord server, you're very welcome. Right now, you're very welcome to do that as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to go. Next week, we're going back to Africa. Proper, not West Africa. Africa. We're going to the Central African Republic. So join me for that. And until then, that might be next week. It might actually be the week after because I'm actually on a family holiday next week. But I'll see what I can bodge together for you. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry if I missed any. And I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock with Marcus for another chat about Ginger Island next month. And until then, I'll say thanks for watching and fair winds and following seas, traveller.